So today we're going to be talking about silky chickens from Little Farm in the Country. This is a 1-week-old silky chicken. And the way you know it's silky, they are all black. They have 5 toes. If you could see, this one has 5 toes. And they're just a smaller chicken. I actually have several in here with a couple of Sermani chickens. I'll show you what those look like. Sermanis. They are all black also. And the way you know that they're purebred, they have 4 toes and they're all black, solid black, no white toes, everything black. And so that's a little Sermani. And then we have a couple of, I'll show you. This one has this is a silky, if you could see his little head, or her. I think this is a boy. You see how his head, his skull is, it's more of like a poof on top of his head, and it's rounded, so he's going to have a big floof on the top of his head. And the way I set up my little brooder box, I run these ceramic lights. They're safer because the other ones with the bulbs, if they get water on them or if they overheat, they can like shatter or explode. So you don't want that. Another thing I do, if you can see, they like to hear the little clicking noise when their beak hits the bowl. That encourages them to eat versus just like putting it all in a big full bowl like that. They don't eat it as well. They prefer hearing that little click, and they just do a lot better. Over here I have a couple of Sermanis with some millefleurs, des uncles. And so these guys are 2 weeks old. And then over here we have they like to perch, so we have that. And then there's a mirror here and on that side. So when I was hatching, we only had one that hatched. And I would put him right next to that mirror, and he thought there was at least 2, maybe 3 if he was looking over there. So that's a good thing to have, mirrors. You would never think that, but it really does help. And then I have another ceramic light. They sell those like at fish aquarium stores in the reptile department. Then in each box I have a thermometer, because you're gonna want to keep track, because these, just by me touching this, it gets really, really hot. So there's just no way to know. And then there's no way to know if you have it too close to the brooder or not close enough. So I have mine on one of these lights here. This is one of those. I mean, I've really got a lot of stuff going. It's probably so much I can't even explain it all. But so this light, if it kind of resembles like when it gets light outside, so that I can adjust the lighting as it's getting dark in the night, kind of like the natural light. So the chickens know, they just go to bed when it gets dark. And so this is kind of a cool light to have. It's a dimmer, and it has like several settings. You can make it brighter, or anyhow. So that's I have this set up so that I can move this up and down depending on their age. So when they're born, the incubator is around 99.5. And then when you bring them out here, you're going to want it to be close to like 98, 99. And there's no way you can do that without having one of these. So I have that in that one. And then over here, I have a reptile. I actually have two. So this one's at 91.5, only because I just put it back in there to start checking. But so with this one, it has a cord that you could just throw the cord in there and gauge the temperature. Like if I want to just measure right here, then I'll put it right there and I can measure. But then if you have a bigger box, you want to make sure that you're getting heat to all sides of the box. So I really like to make sure that they have enough heat. So I'll put that one on that side. So that's that. What else? So the other thing I do, so like, this is week 2. Let's just say, well, these guys are 2 weeks. These little millifleurs here. You see these iams? See how friendly they are? They're not supposed to be that friendly, but they tell you to handle them a lot, so mine are very friendly. They come running when I reach in. So anyway, so if this is week 2, that means that this is going to go up higher to decrease the temperature. So week 2, week 3, you go by 5 degrees less every week. Okay, so those are the main things there. And then another thing I like to use, because chicks can actually drown in these, not in this one, but in some of the ones that the major farm stores sell, they can drown in them. Believe me, I've had it happen. I didn't think it ever would, and then it did. So, and the one that they drowned in was one like this. So now I use this for food, because this is so wide, they can get their, so the chicken I had, he fell in, he fell in, and then another chicken came up behind him, another baby chick, and they all ran to, and he fell in, and he couldn't get up, and he ended up drowning. So I don't use those anymore. That kind has this that goes here for water, but I don't use it for water anymore. Instead, I use this one, because if you look, this one, the chicken can't hardly get their whole body in that. It's very narrow compared to this. They designed it so that they can step in it, but they can't get their whole body into that and fall down. I mean, I'm sure they could, but I don't put that in right away. I give them about 3 days to get older. What I do when I start them out, I get another lid like this, and I'll fill it with water. This one's dirty. I was cleaning it out. So I fill this with water, and I might have to do a couple of these. And I don't even fill it up all the way. I fill it like down here at the bottom, because babies can drown. When they're just first born, they are sleepy. They only stay awake for about 15 seconds, and then they're back to sleep. So you don't want that to happen. So you just want to fill it part way. Look at these guys. They love that clicking noise. Okay, so another product I use to keep my babies going is a product called Rooster Booster. It has vitamins, electrolytes, and lactobacillus. So lactobacillus is a good probiotic that will help with their digestion. It will help their stools be firm and not pasty. And it gives them all the good bacteria they need when they're born. When they're born, they don't have any of that in their gut flora. So you want this. Also, I hear a lot of people say that their chickens have wry neck, and that's where they can't hold their head up. And that's a vitamin E deficiency, and it's a selenium deficiency. So if you catch it fast enough, Well, you know what? I'll just be honest. I've raised over 100 baby chicks and chickens. I've never had that problem because as soon as they're born, see this, I'll show you. As soon as they're born, they start getting this. I add this to their water. See, there's vitamin E right there. And so I add this to their water. What I'll do is I'll mix some of that in a syringe with water when they're first born. And this is a great technique because if you do this, you're never going to have problems giving them medicine because they're going to be excited when they see this syringe later when they're older. I had some get a cough and I put antibiotics in here, and if I reach down in when they're older, they're going to remember what that was and they're going to eat it right off the syringe. Right now they're saying, what is that? I don't need that anymore, Mom. Can't get them to do it, of course, right now. But they usually just like to peck at this. So I do that for the first 48 hours. And that way I make sure that they're staying hydrated, and they just don't know how to drink on their own. And I don't like putting the water dish in there when they're that tiny. It's just dangerous. So if you have the time, you can syringe, give them water and vitamins the first couple days, and then you can add their water dish after maybe 3 or 4 days. I really try to wait for that because after that one time, I really don't want that to happen anymore. So those are the main things that I do the first week of their life to keep them going. I'll check their bottoms daily. I check that they're drinking. If they're not really catching on to eating and drinking very well, I'll give them egg yolk. It has a lot of vitamins in it. I'll just put it in that syringe and I'll give them a couple droppers of that until I can get them more energy and getting them eating really well. I haven't really lost any chicks since then. You know, I've only lost one that drowned. And by giving the egg yolk, because there's a syndrome, it's called fading chick syndrome. And nobody knows, but for some reason, they just start fading away and they lose interest and they just don't do well and then they just die. Well, if you're not watching your babies, that can happen. That's happened to me. So if I come in here several times a day, I watch to see that everybody's doing their thing, eating and interested in drinking. If they're not, I grab the syringe and the egg yolk and they get that all day long. And it seems like they bounce right back. So I haven't lost one since then. I actually have saved a few from that fading chicken syndrome because they just start fading, but I've saved a few that way. So it's always good to have all these things on hand and know what you're doing as far as that goes. Let's see. Okay, so I put that there, and now look what the temperature is. It's 93, so that's not bad. So it's right around 95, but they can overheat fast. And then if you want to, you can always just cover the rest of that box up and make it a little bit warmer. But so anyways, if you have any questions or comments, you can shoot me a message. And we are selling hatching eggs this year, and we are selling baby chicks. If you order them, I can hatch them out for you. We're a little farm in the country on Facebook. You can find our page, place an order that way, and we'll go from there. All right, thank you. Like and subscribe if you see anything. Let me know and I can help you answer it. Talk to you later.